Asi Esteria, an English teacher from SMPN 1 Pangkalan Lada, which is located in Desa Pandusunjaya, Kecamatan Pangkalan Lada, Kabupaten Kota Waringin Barat, Provinsi Kalimantan Tengah. I have followed a webinar entitled Using Open Source Software for Better Students Engagement Online, which was held by PDPU India and Tie-Ups International, collaborated with Dinas Pendidikan Provinsi Kalimantan Tengah. This webinar was held for 3 days from 7 up to 9 December 2020. As an assignment, I have to summarize the materials that I've got from the webinar sessions and find out the suitable materials that I can be implemented in my own school. And here are my summary about the webinar entitled Using Open Source Software for Better Students Engagement Online. On the first day, the first speaker was Dr. Sandes Mahchan, as an assistant professor in the Department of Language, Literature and Aesthetics, School of Liberal Studies, Pandit Dindayal Petroleum University. He talked about creating audiovisual content for teaching as innovative way of learning. This is needed in this pandemic era of COVID-19, where we as teachers cannot have face-to-face meeting in the classroom since the students have to study from home. So we have to be creative and innovative in making our teaching materials, and one of innovative and creative way of learning is by creating audio visual content as a teaching material. We can use shortcut application to make audio visual content. And for the second speaker, Dr. Pradip Malik, as Professor of Mass Communication from School of Liberal Studies PDPU India, he presented about MOOC, Massive Open Online Course. Massive means distance education model, tens of thousands of learners with no limits of expense. Open means anybody from any background can enroll it and could optimize learning. Online means teaching learning are delivered through the internet using e-learning platforms, and courses means it is varied from arts and humanities to computer sciences and artificial intelligence. MOOCs are available to students to supplement their learning and personalized learning environments. It gives independent and blended learning to complement their traditional learning. For the second day, it is Dr. Harmik Vaishnav from School of Liberal Studies PDPU. He presented about fun with teaching English. In language learning, it is challenging for a teacher to create interesting materials, to give examples of the right use of grammar and develop thinking in English language. And one way of doing it is by giving language puzzles in the form of crossword, word puzzles, or even grammar puzzle for syntax or tenses. And the second presenter is Dr. Nausin Nizami, as an assistant professor in School of Liberal Studies PDPU. She presented about organizing online quizzes or taking attendance by using Kahoot. Kahoot is a game-based learning platform used as educational technology in schools and other educational institutions. Its learning games, Kahoots, are user-generated multiple-choice quizzes that can be accessed via a web browser or the Kahoot application. This application is interesting because the students can compete with others to get higher marks. The third day, Dr. Rishi Bandari present about Microsoft Teams or MS Teams as another alternative to manage our online classes besides Google Classroom. MS Teams is quite similar with Google Classroom but has better features. For example, for quizzes or assignment, there is an option for shuffling the questions which is not suitable in Google Classroom. In the last session, Dr. Pradip Malik presented a material about making animation video for teaching by using Render Forest application. Render Forest is a platform for creating intros, explainer animations, promotional videos, logos, or even a professional website. With this application, we can make our own videos as teaching material, create an animation tools which is more interesting for students. And now, how am I going to implement those learning in my teaching? As an English teacher of junior high school students, in a village like me, not all of the materials can be implemented here in my school. But I think I can use some. For English puzzle, I have made it. I often made it for my students since for junior high school students playing is more fun than learning. So I often give them games with words. For example, I give a word like beautiful and then I ask them to find other word from this word. This could so they could mention tie, tea, bed, and etc. Or I give the word beautiful as the main word and then they create other words from the main word. Beautiful, B become big, E become it, A become N or air, and so on. For Kahoot, I have tried to make mine and I think I can use it in this online teaching where I usually use Google Form for quizzes or midterm or even final examination. I think I can use it in the future and I think my students will love it because they like to play games and having English quiz in the form of game where they can compete with others. I am sure they will like it. For making audiovisual teaching materials, it is quite challenging, but by following this webinar, I have tried to make my own, which is something that I've never made before. Just like the video, I think I can make something like this for my teaching material in the next semester, where we as teachers are still required to make teaching learning process through media. And the last, I would like to give teaching material in the form of animation video, and I have tried to make it, and it is quite easy to use this application. I can develop it for my materials in teaching for the next coming semester. At last, thanks for the knowledge and opportunity to follow the webinar. It is opened my mind to develop my teaching materials and media. It's all from me, and thank you very much.